All right. Today, we're tackling a fascinating tool, one that tries to measure something that feels, well, unmeasurable. We're talking about the wild emotional heartbeat of the crypto market. Let's get right into it. You know how it is. The crypto market can swing from pure panic to total euphoria in the blink of an eye. But what if you could actually put a number on that feeling? What if you could quantify the collective mood of millions of investors all at once? Well, that's the exact problem the Fear and Greed Index was created to solve. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll cover exactly how this thing measures the market's mood. Then, we'll pop the hood and look at all the ingredients. After that, we'll figure out how to decode the score, see how it can be used as a contrarian's tool, and, super important, we'll finish up by talking about its limits. Okay, so let's start with the big picture. What is this thing, really? Think of it like a mood ring for the entire crypto market. At its heart, it's a sentiment meter. It sucks in a whole bunch of different market data and crunches it all down into one single number that tells you if investors are feeling scared and anxious or confident and greedy. And that number is on a really simple scale, 0 to 100. A score of 0, that means extreme fear has its grip on the market. A score of 100, that's extreme greed. It's all designed to give you a quick, at-a-glance read on the market's emotional temperature. Now you might be thinking, wait, doesn't the stock market have a fear and greed index? It does. So why build a whole new one for crypto? Because let's be honest, crypto is a completely different animal. The stock market is driven by big institutions. Crypto? It's often driven by us, the retail crowd, by social media hype, and by absolutely insane volatility. It just needed its own unique meter. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. What exactly is going into this calculation? What's the secret sauce? The index is built on 5 key data sources, but as you can see, they are not weighted equally. Look at that, volatility and market momentum, those are the heavy hitters. Together, they make up half of the entire score. Let's break down what each of these really means. So, that huge 50% chunk is basically all about price action. When Bitcoin's price is swinging around like crazy and trending down, the index reads that as fear. But when trading volume is way up and prices are climbing higher and higher, yep, that's a textbook signal of greed. Next up, making up 15% of the score, is social media. And you know how much that moves the needle in crypto. The index is constantly scraping platforms like Twitter, looking at how fast and how often people are talking about Bitcoin. When you see this massive explosion in hashtags and mentions, that's a huge sign of FOMO, fear of missing out, which is a classic symptom of a greedy market. Bitcoin's role in the market is also a really key factor here. Think of Bitcoin as the safe harbor in the crypto sea. When investors get scared, they often flee the smaller, riskier altcoins and pile into the relative safety of Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin's dominance goes up, that's a fear signal. But when its dominance falls, that suggests people are feeling greedy and pouring money into riskier projects, hoping for those massive returns. And the last piece of this puzzle is Google Trends, making up the final 10%. The index is basically listening in on what the world is searching for. If there's a huge spike in people Googling things like how to buy Bitcoin or Bitcoin price prediction, it's a dead giveaway that public interest is soaring. It's another clear signal of that retail-driven FOMO. Okay, so we know what goes into the mix. Now, let's talk about what the final score actually means. How do we read this thing? This table lays it all out pretty clearly. Any score between 0 and 24, and you are in extreme fear. This is pure panic in the market. On the flip side, 75 to 100, we're in extreme greed territory. Total euphoria where it feels like prices can only go up. And of course, everything in between is just general fear or greed, with a score of 50 being perfectly neutral. So great, we have a number, but what do you do with it? Well, this is where it gets really useful, especially if you're someone who likes to think like a contrarian investor. You've probably heard this famous quote a million times. This is the absolute heart of the strategy. The whole idea is to go against the herd. And this index is a tool that helps you see exactly when the herd is stampeding in one direction, which might just create an opportunity for someone willing to go the other way. And here's what that looks like in practice. When the index is flashing extreme fear, a contrarian thinks, everyone is panic selling. Maybe assets are getting cheap. This could be a buying opportunity. But when that needle is cranked all the way up to extreme greed, it's a warning siren.
It signals that the market might be overheated, maybe due for a correction, and that it's a time for caution.
But, and this is a huge but, before you rush off and start making moves based on this one number, we have to talk about its limitations. This is so important. This is a guide, not a magic crystal ball.
So here's what you absolutely have to remember. First, it's a short-term indicator. It's a snapshot of how people feel right now, not a prediction of the future. It quantifies emotion, but it does not guarantee prices. And because of that, and this is the most important part, it should never be used in isolation. Think of it as just one tool in a much bigger toolbox. I think this analogy really nails it. If the traditional stock market index is like a massive cruise ship, slow, steady, and predictable, the crypto index is like a speedboat in a hurricane. It's fast, it's agile, and it has to react instantly to every huge wave of volatility and every burst of social media chatter just to stay afloat. It's incredible at telling you how bad the storm is right now, but it has absolutely no way of telling you where that storm is headed next.